Hi all. I had an interesting game last night. Barnet was playing Ilford at home. Ilford didn't turn up with a particularly strong team. I was expecting to play like a 190 player. They've got several players over 190, but I think some of them play in the London League. I was playing W.T. Franklin, who apparently about 20 years ago was 160. At the moment he's ungraded. Mike Jones, my team captain, recognised him from that time back. Anyway, I kicked off with E4, and he played D5, the centre counter. So I took, and now he played knight F6. I didn't really want to try and keep hold of the pawn, because, I don't know, I think there's some dangerous variations here. If I played C4, well, A, there's a gambit, and B, there's like bishop G4, there's either of this, or bishop F5. And this is quite interesting for black. I didn't really want to get into this line. So basically I wanted to have a small but guaranteed advantage. I just played D4 and let black get the pawn back immediately. After knight takes D5 I just played knight F3. And now this is an interesting move. Knight C6 is very provocative, because I can just play now C4 and D5. But I am weakening my dark squares a bit. Perhaps better is G6, less controversial. Or something like bishop F5. But anyway, knight C6 was played, so I just stretched out with C4 and now played D5. So the knight went back to B8. Now, although I've got this extra space, you know, he can undermine it quite easily with either C6 or E6. So I had to be careful. I played knight C3, and he did actually play C6. Here I thought I should develop the bishop to F4. Just in case it's useful to maybe have knight b5s after CD, but he's always got knight a6, so it's not that clear what the bishop is doing on f4. But I am actually also allowing my rook to come to c1. So he took on d5, I took on d5, now he played g6. Now here, I really wanted to find something concrete, seemingly punish black's lack of development, but I couldn't really see anything that concrete. I thought though that queen a4 check would be mildly annoying, because after bishop d7 I can go back to bishop d7 was played, I just went back to b3, just targeting that b7 pawn. And now if queen b6, I don't think black's pawn structure is very nice. Let's have a quick look at that. Queen b6, so if I took maybe and bishop c4, well, at least I've got a nicer pawn structure. And Rybka likes white's position here, but again, it's not really, it doesn't seem to be that big a deal compared to the leading development I have. So let's go back. After queen b3, he actually just retreated his bishop back to c8, so I've basically got another move for free, this queen b3. So what am I making of this position? Well, I thought I couldn't still see anything concrete. I just thought that if I play bishop c4, I'm targeting the f7 pawn later. So I played bishop c4, and also this threat of d6, maybe. But he played a6, and here, apparently, Rybka likes actually castles or d6. But I didn't really see what I'd be doing with d6. Let's have a quick look. d6, e6. And now just castles. Yes, this pawn's nice, but is it winning? I suppose it is. Maybe knight e5, bishop g7. And now definitely, I didn't see this again, this pawn sacrifice. Rybka keeps seeing these pawn sacks. So d7, check. Knight fd7, and now bishop d6. Yes, this would have been very nice. So all these dynamic possibilities. So this, I just thought once that pawn was on d6, there was no point to it. But apparently there is. Just play d7 check if black's not careful. So here, can black actually defend? Let's say knight d7 instead. Knight bd7. Oh, bishop takes e6. That's embarrassing. So, yes, that would be very difficult. So I let him off the hook perhaps. I played a vastly inferior move. I just played bishop takes b8, a materialistic move, just winning a pawn with this tactic, bishop takes a6. So he played bishop g7, and I just retreated my bishop to c4. I thought if I can get in a4, surely I'm just a solid pawn up. He castles, I castle, and now bishop g4. And now I thought that was not a very good move because I just played knight e5. He's got no threats of knight takes d5 because of knight takes g4. So here he actually gives up a second pawn voluntarily. He plays b5. Now I think he was trying to undermine d5 and create some pressure on my queen, but he is weakening the c6 square, so I just take with my knight, and I can't see anything really dangerous for black. Now he plays bishop d7. I thought, yeah, I'll just play knight c6 here, getting a strong, dangerous passed pawn. So he took, I took, now he played queen a5, and now I thought, well, I'm going to try and arrange more pressure on f7. I'll play rook fe1. Had to be a bit careful with this queen iron net square. After knight d5, that's an interesting move. Trying to decoy my bishop so he can play rook takes b5 and rook takes b2. So I just supported my knight now with a4. And now he played e6. So I thought, what do I do here? Do I take on d5 and let him maybe take this b pawn? Well, actually I did take on d5. But Rfe actually doesn't like queen takes d5, at least not immediately. It gives something like rook ad1 as being very strong, queen c2. Anyway, I played queen takes d5. Actually, this is still regarded as quite strong. He played rook c8. I was just expecting rook takes b2. So I'm several pawns up now, 3 pawns up. I play c7, and his position is very critical now. If rook, well, the rook can't really move anywhere. Say rook a8, then rook e7, and f7's a real problem here. So say rook f8 and rook c1. It's all over. I mean, this position is lost now. So I just need to carefully glide the position in for that winning home run. So he took on c7 actually. So I'm the exchange up now, as well as 2 pawns. But still, I play rook ab1. And I was hoping to quickly finish the game here if he'd played something like bishop takes b2. I believed I could win his rook with rook takes check and queen d4. Oops, queen d4 check. Just winning that rook. So basically he didn't do that though. He actually played queen c2. So I just protected my pawn now just by moving it up 1 square. So my queen's in quite a dominating position. One of my only tactical vulnerabilities is this f2 pawn, and he rearranges his bishop to try and target it. So he plays bishop f8. And also I was a bit worried about my back row, so I thought I'd play g3 to give my king some air. I don't really need to do anything that active. It's a winning position, the exchange up and 2 pawns. I know I was a bishop up a couple of games ago and I managed to blow that, but I think as long as you reduce your tactical vulnerabilities to a minimum and try and increase the opponents, you can glide the positions in to the win very safely. So here g3 is part of that safety campaign. I don't need to do anything at all spectacular. So he just plays bishop c5, and now I just play queen f3. So I'm still, keeping guard of the b3 pawn, keeping guard of f2, stopping any potential bishop f2s. And, now I'm preparing, stuff like rook c1, if he's not careful. After rook c8, I did actually play rook bc1, so there's a latent pin now coming on this rook on c8. So he's becoming more tactically vulnerable. And now just another part of the safety campaign, I just played king g2. And here he just resigned. So not having to do anything spectacular, and just once the position's winning, that's it. Let's well, what can black do here, I suppose you might ask. If queen d7, now here, yes, he's protecting the rook on c8, but say, right, Rybka's move is queen e4, so now there's a threat maybe of b4. If bishop f8, or anything really, just taking on c8, and now b4, and these pawns are just going to be winning the game, just moving them forward, if nothing else. I hope there's something instructive in there. Please leave any comments on YouTube. Thanks very much.